Father of four, exactly 6 years. Welcome, Jim.
Getting Kelly here to San Francisco is great. I'm going to do this in 10 seconds on Vine, and then you'll all be done. So anyway, honestly, I was just talking with my friend Alan Simpson. It's great to be here, but it's great to see the people who built this incredible movement around digital citizenship and digital literacy in the United States. Alan was saying that he had known many people over email, but had never seen you before. And it's pretty incredible, because I can recall 6 or 7 years ago when we were first having discussions about this topic, and when kids were still spending 9 hours a day with media and technology, but that the field was a fraction of what it is today. So it's awesome to be here with the people who built that field, and so much individually and collectively for having made this happen. And the truth is, and my kidding about Vine notwithstanding, is this is only going to get bigger and bigger. This is only going to become bigger and bigger, because kids spend their lives now, whether it's at home or in the classroom, dealing with media and technology. And by the way, so do their parents like me and all of us. And a lot of what we're talking about here, I think, is actually translatable to a home audience as well. So this is it's great to be here with you and really having the leading experts in the country and our friend Kelly moderating and all the folks who pulled this together. Thank you a ton. So one thing I want to point out today, before I just mention a couple other things, is huge win, in my opinion, about kids, media, and technology yesterday. The FCC voted 3-2 to protect consumer privacy and to require, there's a huge ruling. If you see the front page of the New York Times, it's the #1 story today, where Tom Wheeler, the chairman of the FCC, got 2 other commissioners to vote to protect online privacy from the big telecom and media players. That's a huge win, and for everybody in this country. And by the way, we believe that common sense, that privacy is a big part of digital literacy and digital citizenship. And in fact, that's one of the leading edge reasons we started getting into this field 5 or 6 years ago. So it's great. And let me just speak to that in the context of what I think is going to happen in the next year or two. So, because we believe there's a big legislative agenda that has to happen around digital citizenship in this country. And just for those of you who know us through our work with consumers in our what I call our Consumer Reports platform, where our schools work, you know, when I started Common Sense, the reason was to build AARP for kids. It was to build the most powerful advocacy voice ever for kids. And so, as much as we've done the work with consumers and with schools around the country, we believe kids need as powerful a voice as senior citizens have or gun owners have in this country. And so that's a big part of what can happen. And I believe that this movement here today can be a big part of that. So this past year, Claire Beach over here, who's from the state of Washington, led an effort to pass really singular legislation in the state of Washington about digital citizenship, which is going to be, I think, landmark legislation, not just in state for people who live in Seattle or Spokane, but for every state in the country, because it's the first time there was legislation passed around this topic. And we are going to take the legislation that was the model legislation that we passed last year in the state of Washington and take it to 20+ states around the country in 2017. And the idea is you have to have a political movement, and that, by the way, that means you all, because you have to have a political policy effort that dovetails with what we're doing in schools and homes around the country. And because we have model legislation now, you can take that and you can do that in Texas, in Florida, in Oklahoma, in Rhode Island, in Massachusetts, wherever you all are from, and certainly here in California, we're going to pass legislation, and we're going to put a lot of resources behind that. My colleague J.R. Steyer runs that effort for us. Claire over here is the woman who really led that in Washington, and we think that's great. And namely, and Media Literacy Now, and everyone else who's here are going to be partners in that effort. But truthfully, this happens at a state level because you have advocates and experts in your state who make that happen. So to me, this could be a very big part of what we're talking about here today, but it's putting a political and policy gloss to it. Just a minute about some of the other stuff that we would love to partner with everybody here today on. We now, over the past 5 years, have built up a schools program at Common Sense where digital literacy, digital citizenship is a core part of the program. And Kelly mentioned that in her introduction. But our idea, we now have about 120,000 member schools and about nearly 400,000 member teachers. And our idea is to make that available to everybody and to work with you and the best experts in the field to make sure that those resources are available at every school, every teacher, every home in the country. And the more we can support you in our work on that, the better. So please, I have a number of my colleagues are here today. Please work with them. Tell us what you need from us. We're just proud to be part of this group of people who are here today. And we look at this as a chance to take all the great work you all have done and then working together scale this to the next level. I want to mention one other thing that I think is critical to our version, how we see digital citizenship, which is that it's certainly in the Steyer family, I can't speak for all of your families, this device is both a positive and a negative. So we are going to launch a campaign. We soft launched it during the 2016 Summer Olympics, but we're going to launch a campaign that we'd love you all to help us with and participate in called Device-Free Dinner. So the idea is, device-free dinner is a metaphor, not just for put your blanking phone away when you're trying to sit and have breakfast, lunch, or dinner with your kids, or your friends, by the way, but also about finding the right balance for technology and devices in all of our lives. So if it's okay with you, I just want to show you one ad.
Yes.
Is that possible?
It's going to be possible. You
Oh,
can
so wait.
Yeah, or you can like take a question.
I'll take, okay.
We're just.
Well, I'll tell you what, let me do, while you get the ad, let me just say, let me make one other point around that, and then tell me when you guys can run it. Because I would love to run this ad and show it to you, because then we'd love to know how we can work with you on that. But we believe that the appropriate, thoughtful, balanced use of devices is a big part of digital citizenship. So, and I just want to show you one of the ads, just to give you a sense of how we're trying to say that to the broader public. And again, we would love creative ideas from you, partnership, etc. And as you guys try to bring it up,
We're working on it.
oh, let me make the point that I was going to end with, because I think it's really important. So at the end of the day, when we talk about digital citizenship, I do think ultimately it's about kids. And it's really about raising the next generation of Americans in a world of 24/7 media and technology. And I think if you think about that, you have to think about it beyond just digital citizenship and more in the realm, let me know when you're ready, but I have about a minute that I want to say something. I think you have to look at it in the context of how we as a society value young people and kids. So let me just explain California, the state where we're headquartered and where I've lived since I moved out from New York City to go to school here. So California is the 6th largest economy in the world. We also have the highest percentage of kids living in poverty in the United States of America, which is an absolute moral and economic disgrace. And digital citizenship is part of what those kids need, but they also need enough food to eat, roofs over their heads. You could walk 5 minutes from this Twitter headquarters over to 6th and Market and see kids who are living in homeless shelters. We have more than 1 out of 5 kids in California today. That's not the video. But let me finish this, and then you guys, let me just finish this point, and then we'll run the ad. Kids are the poorest Californians. Kids are the poorest Americans. That's not right. As we talk, that's not right at all. And it's a fundamental challenge to our society. By the way, despite the embarrassment of this presidential campaign and the way, by the way, talk about digital citizenship, we should have taught digital citizenship to at least one of the candidates over the course of his lifetime. But I will say this, whoever becomes president has to raise these issues to the public. And as you go out and build a movement in this country around digital citizenship, you also have to talk about the fact that kids are the poorest Americans, that they do not have, in many cases, the kind of schooling, the kind of food, the kind of basics that everybody deserves. So as we build this movement, I hope you will see it as part of a broader movement to make kids the #1 priority in this society. And digital citizenship is a way to talk to every single American about that, because they know this is a big deal now in their lives. So as we build this movement around the country, which we're doing around digital citizenship, put it in the context of making kids and families the #1 priority in this society. And hopefully, the next president of the United States will see that. I think she will. And hopefully, I do. And hopefully the governors of California and all the states that you represent will see that, and that we will make that part of all the work we do in the months and years ahead together. So, with that point, which was my closing point, I would like to show you the device-free dinner ad, because I think this is an element of how we all have to view devices and technology and media in our lives. So, let's go.
Buffering.
It better be good at the end of that.
Oh, it happens all of us.
It did?
It's just every, this is what happens.
There are too many Vine clips in the Twitter building that are still out there somewhere. It's a great ad.
You know what? Can we tweet it out?
I can't do it. You can't get it up.
I'll tweet it out.
Yeah, let's
All right,
tweet it out.
At some
Everyone
point,
watch
if you
it.
can show it.
Yeah.
At some point, if you can show it, we're really proud of it. But the only thing I would end with is this. We do think that this is something we would like to share with all of you, because we do think that it's a very simple way to explain to the average mom, dad, teacher, grandparent that media and technology are everywhere, including, unfortunately, at a lot of people's dinner tables or in restaurants or everywhere we all are. And finding the right, safe, thoughtful balance in that is critical. But fundamentally, having all of us work together and build the movement that you've done so far and then take it to the next level is much more exciting than any ad campaign we can ever run. But trust me, you will like this. Thank you very much for all of your support.
And Jim, I know I'll be doing a story on dinner at Grandma's when that ad is ready. When in 2017?
Oh, no. We will get, no. This is going to, I'm sorry, it's actually a good, there's a series of ads. We're just showing one of them. No, it's going to run.
Launching it when?
In time for the holidays.
Oh,
that's
great.
why it's called Dinner at
Perfect.
Grandma's.
All right, great.
There's about 5 or 6, and we will get, and that's why I asked you for creative ideas. We expect we will get over $100 million of airtime from the major networks in the next, we're looking at sort of the Partnership for Drug-Free America kind of campaign. So we want people to create, if you can see the ad at some point, you'll understand. We'll give everybody all of them. The idea is help us spread the message, because it ultimately is about digital citizenship.
Absolutely, right. Absolutely.